G'day guys, welcome back to Reach Me or Teach Me. Continuing on my NFL GOATs journey at the moment. If you haven't already seen that video, go back and check it out. There was basically the GOAT in every position, and I've reacted and analysed that video, and I'm sort of slowly ticking off the players through that video. Jim Brown came up there, and I thought he would be a really good one to react to because I believe he was a fullback, which is not a particularly common position anymore. And everything they said in that video about Jim Brown basically made him sound like almost the GOAT, to be honest. So I'm super fascinated to check out his action. Let's go.
This is a picture of Jim Brown, and I treasure that very much, but I treasure the words even more. Bert, a friend over 25 years. You have remained a man, and a man of his word.
Tackle him.
And that's rare. Your friend,
oh no,
wherever you are, Jim.
It's pretty quick.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to...
He doesn't look ridiculously quick, but he looks just quick enough. And something that I'm seeing already is he's got some friggin' tree trunk thighs, and that's so pivotal for absorbing that contact and pushing through it. And I've already seen it so far in the first couple of clips there where he'll take that initial contact and just shrug it off.
Tall buildings in a single bound. The pro game in the pop age had a number of superstars, but only one Superman, and he was Jim Brown.
Jim thought on Sundays, and these are his words, that he was a god, that nobody could hurt him, nobody could touch him, nobody was better. And he proved it
that
every
was
Sunday.
woeful defense too.
He always shocked everybody, I think, how fast he was. And then you tack onto that 225 pounds and mean, tough runner.
In 9 record-setting seasons, Jim Brown led the league in rushing 8 times. Brown
8 times out of 9 seasons he led the league. It's definitely that core strength and that leg strength that's his key weapon, I reckon. He's genuinely able to absorb that initial contact and drive through it or shrug it off because of that core and those big tree trunks.
Brown was a 3-time MVP. He is the only runner ever to average over 100 yards per game and over 5 yards per carry for a career.
I'm sure they said Barry averaged 5 yards a game. And I think he also broke the 100-yard season average too, but definitely the 5 yards a game. So this whoever's talking at the moment, this must have been a while ago.
That so-called macho, which I hate that word, but...
Oh, come on, he's at a standstill. You've got to tackle him. Oh, shit.
I played 9 seasons. I never missed a game. And I never laid out on the football field. I might not have the greatest ability of everybody, but the one thing that stands is that when it was time to play, I was there.
There it is. Just absorb that contact, push through.
He was the NFL's all-time leading rusher and touchdown king when he retired. With an NFL championship and nothing more to accomplish, Brown walked away when he was just
He's pretty
29.
quick. Wait, sorry, what?
Walked away when he was NFL championship and touchdown king when he retired. With an NFL championship and nothing more to accomplish, Brown walked away when he was just 29.
Oh, wow.
When I quit, I was happy. I had 9 good years. I did all the things I wanted to do. I went into movies. I started talking to pretty girls. Oh, I've never looked back.
Brown and Reynolds first met when they were co-stars in the 1969 Western 100 Rifles.
So it is Burt Reynolds that was talking before.
There was a scene where we had to fight each other. So I fought him on a cliff, about 75 feet down to the first rock. And
his ability to absorb that initial contact and continue to keep those legs moving is absolutely his core key weapon. He's got a little bit of speed. He's got a little bit of ability to juke and step as well. Not crazy, but it's that initial contact, and he just, nah, not today, son, and keeps moving.
And he got me dangling there. And he said, you know, I'm really getting kind of sick of this height. I said, really? Well, screw you. If we fall, it's going to say Jim Brown, an unknown actor, die. For me, a lot of people want to talk about other actors. Nobody wants to talk to Jim Brown about other football players. They want to talk about Jim Brown.
That is a really cool way to phrase it. And again, I'm quite certain it was Burt, they mentioned earlier, and then they said Reynolds, so I'm guessing it's Burt Reynolds, right? And he says, a lot of people want to talk to me about other actors. Nobody wants to talk to Jim Brown about other footballers. That's awesome. I love that. He's a bit of a wordsmith, old Burt.
I think even people that never even saw him play, you say Jim Brown, and they sort of whisper, did you see him? Did you know him?
Oh, you can't let him get across the field.
Everything I hoped he would be, and a hell of a lot more.
Most dominant player to ever step on any athletic field.
Ooh, I don't know about that. That's a big call. Any athletic field. Bruh.
Jim Brown was a titan, which means he was larger than man.
He was bigger and faster and stronger than everybody on the field.
Considered by most experts as the greatest fullback ever to play the game, Jimmy's harder to bring down than a wild steer.
Jim Brown is bigger than life. A fierce competitor for justice as he was on the field for excellence.
Here's a striking example of his individual brilliance.
The creator said, I'm only going to do this one time in a very special player.
8 rushing titles in 9 seasons. 3 Most Valuable Player awards. Over 12,000 rushing yards.
Wow.
106 rushing touchdowns.
In 9 seasons.
Never missing a game and retiring at the height of his career.
Honestly, that is so impressive. The fact that he's never missed a game. He's surely played through all sorts of injuries and niggles and all the rest of it. And I know we didn't have the whole load management thing in the sports science that we have today, but that endurance factor seems to have been lost on the modern sports. I mean, again, basketball comparison, you got players like Jordan who would play 82 games a season, and then these days you've got players like Kawhi who are sort of amazing, incredible talent, but if I'm a GM, I'm not signing someone who's only going to play 50% of the games for me, because it's essentially halving your impact. But yeah, the toughness and the endurance and durability. Coaches often say their favorite ability is availability, and I think durability's got to be right up there as well.
You talk about Bo Jackson, Marcus Allen, Eric Dickerson, Tony Dorsett, Walter Payton. there's not one trait that they had that he didn't have.
He's one. He's one. Payton 2. I fall 3.
Guys that are extremely strong may not be as agile. Some guys have all the speed in the world but may not have the balance. Jim had it all.
Balance. Yes, I like it. Balance. That's that core strength and those thighs again. Being able to, again, hold his balance in the contact and then shrug it off. Yeah, I like it. Good call.
His principal legacy is going to be what he accomplished as a football player. But Jim Brown was not principally a great football player. Jim Brown was a great man who just also happened to play a great game of football.
Jim Brown was always in motion. Only the lens of a camera could stop him. He left indelible images on Hollywood and as a community activist, but first on the football field, in a career that almost never happened at all.
I came up in the 50s. Race was always an issue everywhere. And I was the only African American on the team. It was very difficult based upon the racial attitude of some people.
After his arrival at Syracuse in 1953, a frustrated Brown rode the bench.
I knew I was the best back there, and they were trying to tell me I wasn't. So I decided I was going to leave. Superintendent of my high school flew up there and told me that I bet not quit. Stick it out, and it'll work out. And he was right.
As a senior, Brown was a unanimous All-American.
God damn, take him down.
Down, Brown picks up that and then some as he breaks loose on a spine-tingling open field gallop.
And set a then NCAA single game.
So many missed opportunities where before he's got that stride going, before he's got any momentum, that you've got to get him in that first couple of steps.
Record by scoring 43 points in his final regular season appearance. In 1957, he took his talent to the NFL, where he fell to a team worthy of his name.
Jim Brown was not #1 on the draft list that year. Paul Brown wanted to take Lenny Dawson, a quarterback, and the quarterbacks he wanted were gone. I guess I'll just settle for Jim Brown.
When you're a rookie, you have to step back. But I didn't have to do too much stepping back.
Hey.
In Brown's 9th game, he ran for a then NFL single-game record, 237 yards, against the LA Rams.
In his 9th game. Oh, he's throwing touchdown passes too.
I'll always remember, he said these words to me: "You are my running back. You are my running back." Those was the sweetest words I ever heard as a professional football player.
Brown's 1957 season was a debut like few in sports history. Rookie of the Year, MVP, a league rushing crown, and All-Pro honors. But that was just the beginning.
They just say he was MVP in his rookie season.
After 10 seasons and over 13,000 yards, Walter Payton stands alone as the NFL's all-time leading rusher. But when it comes to pure running ability, the man at the head of the class is Jim Brown. Those who tried to stop him still speak in reverent tones.
Jimmy Brown was, without a doubt, the greatest football player ever put on a uniform. I mean, he could just do everything with it. And when you talk about tough, he was just tough because he was such a great talent that he could run with that football. He had great balance, he had great speed, and he had great size. At 235 pounds, he could run 100 yards in under 10 seconds as fast as any halfback. That's what made him so tough, because you had to set your defense to stop Jimmy Brown. And if you didn't stop him, you lost the game. It was that.
That was the first like genuine juke step I've seen so far from him.
That's simple, but you're not going to stop him forever. When he made up his mind to do it, he was going to do it. You couldn't knock him off his feet.
Brown was not a beautiful runner. He was a power runner. But in the end, his power was beautiful to watch. His achievements loom larger considering that he ran against defenses working almost exclusively to stop him.
I bet.
Each week, Brown was the bullseye in an 11-man target shoot, a marked man, and yet in 9 professional seasons, he never once missed a game.
You know, you would go out there and with 11 guys geared to stop Jim Brown. That's pretty tough for him. You know, you're just almost ignoring everybody else.
The ref almost got steamrolled.
Because a lot of times it takes 5 or 6 guys to get him down. Dick Nolan, who was our defensive safety, little guy, Nolan, we used to call him Sticks. He didn't weigh 180 pounds. He came up and really hit Jim Brown head on and got him. It was some shot. And I came over and I picked Nolan up. And I said, "Hey, Dick, I'm sorry I didn't get there in time, but great tackle. You really got him, And he says, "Great tackle, hell." He says, "I couldn't get out of his way."
I once thought Superman wore an S on his jersey and hung around with Lois Lane, said one opposing coach. Now I know he wears number 32 and plays football in Cleveland.
He was one great player, and when we drafted him, I thought he was going to be a great back. It turns out.
Oh. Okay, well that was awesome. I really enjoyed that. I'm really glad that I did that GOAT list because I don't think Jim Brown's a name that I was familiar with, and I don't think I would have got to. I probably would have got to him eventually, but that was cool. Really enjoyed that. Yeah, that strength, that toughness, that durability, beautiful, and something that's desperately missing in the modern game. Anyway, guys, if you're here still and you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next one.